Once upon a time, in a land filled with wonder and magic, there was a beautiful garden. This wasn't any ordinary garden, oh no. It was a garden where flowers bloomed in every color of the rainbow, trees towered like ancient giants, and a river sparkled under the sun like a cascade of diamonds. In this magical garden, there lived an old wise wizard. He was the caretaker of the garden, tending to the blooming flora, whispering to the rustling leaves, and singing to the flowing river. The wizard was kind, yet firm. He had but one rule for anyone who stepped foot in his enchanting haven. Do not pick the golden apple from the tree of knowledge. This rule was respected by all who entered the garden. They admired the vibrant colors, breathed in the sweet fragrances, and marveled at the beauty around them. Everyone, that is, except for one curious little boy named Timmy. Timmy was not like the others. He was always curious, always questioning, and always getting into trouble. His mind was a whirlwind of questions, a bubbling cauldron of what-ifs and whys. This curiosity, as delightful as it was, often led him to bend, and sometimes break, the rules. In the heart of the magical garden, a golden apple shimmered under the sun's warm rays. It was no ordinary fruit, but a treasure guarded by an old wizard. The wizard had one rule: no one was to pick the apple. But Timmy, with his hungry curiosity, found himself drawn to the enchanting fruit. His fascination grew with each passing day. His desire to hold, to taste, to understand the golden apple intensified. Despite the wizard's rule, despite the whispers of caution in his mind, Timmy's curiosity was a force too strong to resist. One sunny afternoon, unable to resist his curiosity, Timmy decided to pick the golden apple. As Timmy reached up and plucked the golden apple from its branch, the garden began to change. Not in a beautiful, enchanting way as it usually did. No, this was different. The garden, once teeming with vibrant colors, magical creatures, and the sweetest of fragrances, started losing its charm. The brilliant hues that painted the garden slowly faded away, leaving behind a dull and lifeless landscape. The magical creatures, who were once playful and full of life, disappeared, leaving behind an eerie silence. The wizard, the caretaker of the magical garden, watched as his beautiful creation withered. His heart heavy with sadness, he looked at Timmy, his eyes filled with disappointment. He had trusted Timmy, given him the opportunity to enjoy the wonders of his garden, and in return, he had asked for just one thing: obedience. But Timmy had failed him. The other children, who had been happily exploring the garden, suddenly found themselves in a dreary, listless world. Their laughter and joy were replaced with silence and sorrow. They looked at Timmy, their disappointment echoing the wizard's. They had all been entrusted with the same rule, and they had all obeyed. Except for Timmy. And Timmy, standing there with the golden apple in his hand, could feel the weight of his disobedience. He looked around at the transformed garden, the unhappy faces of his friends, and the disappointed eyes of the wizard. He felt a pang of regret. He wished he could go back, make a different choice, but it was too late. The damage was done. Timmy learned a valuable lesson that day. He realized that rules are not meant to limit us, but to guide us. He understood that his actions had consequences, and these consequences affected not just him, but everyone around him. He wished he had obeyed the one rule, but now it was too late. The once beautiful garden was now just a memory, all because Timmy didn't obey the one rule. Timmy, filled with regret, approached the wizard and apologized for his disobedience. His voice quivered with sincerity. He admitted his mistakes and promised to the wizard that he would obey the rules in the future. He understood now that rules were made for a reason, not to limit fun, but to ensure safety and order. The wizard listened, his stern face softening. He saw the change in Timmy, the maturity that had replaced the recklessness. With a nod of his head, he forgave Timmy, restoring the garden back to its magical beauty. The children cheered, their smiles brighter than the sunflowers that bloomed anew. They danced and played, their laughter echoing around the garden. But amidst the joy, one could notice a change in Timmy. He was still the playful, energetic boy they knew, but now he was more mindful, more respectful. And from that day forward, Timmy learned the importance of obedience, a lesson he would remember for the rest of his life.